Guys, in this video, we will learn what are count function in pandas library and how we can use these function on data frame, series or index. I'm using editor PyCharm and Python version 3.12 is installed on my computer. Before getting started with any of the implementation, you have to install pandas library on your computer first. In order to install pandas library, you have to open your terminal or you can open a command prompt and then type in one command, that is pip install pandas. Once you execute this command, pandas library will be installed on your computer and then you can use its functionality and features in Python code. Okay, now let's get started with our today's video. As you know, data frame is a collection of rows and columns. If you want to count columns or rows, let me quickly import pandas library and then I'll be creating a new data frame. Okay, import pandas pd. I have some code handy to save some time. Let me paste. This is a pandas alias and we are using data frame, right, which will return us the new data frame. Okay, here we have this dictionary. Okay, here we are creating two columns and four rows, right? We have index as well to identify each row. Okay, let me print the data frame first. So we will be getting rows and columns and the type of this df object, right? If you're in the program, so you will see these data in form of rows and columns. These are columns and these are rows, right? For the index, we have this unique value to identify our each row. Okay, if you see the type of this df object, we are getting data frame, right? Now you want to count your total number of rows in the data frame object. You can easily do it. You have to just say df.count function if you're in the program, so you will get number of rows as per your columns, right? Math columns has four count 1 2 3 4 and science has 3 1 2 3, right? If we look at the documentation of count function, so you will see we have axis, right, which means you can apply your count function either on row or columns, right? By default, this is 0, means we are counting our rows. Okay, if you make your axis 1, so it will count number of columns, right? Student index has 2 count 1 2, student 2 also, student 3 as 1 because it excluded the null value. Okay, after excluding null value, it counted the number of columns, right? If you want to add a new column, marks 80, if you're in the program again, so you will see your count will be changed, right? So instead of 2, we are getting now 3 because number of columns are now getting increased. Okay, here still we have 1 because there are two columns which is having null value. That's why it took 1. Okay, if either of these two values we put some values, then our count will be increased, right? Increase from 1 to 2. Okay, so that is how this count function works. Axis 1 means we are counting columns, axis 0 means we are counting rows. Okay, right? Now let's see what is value underscore count function. Let me make this example more easier. I have to remove this row. Okay, if you're in the program again, so you are getting two rows which are having same values on each cell, right? 12. So if I use value underscore count function, which means it will return a series containing the frequency of each distinct row in the data frame. Okay, it will return distinct row in the data frame with their count. If you're in the program, so you will get you are 12 and 12, so it is twice on these indexes, so it counted 2, right? We have 1 and 34, which means it has 1, and student 3, this index has been excluded from here. If you see the documentation, so we have one parameter that is drop na. Its default value is true. Don't include counts of rows that contains na value, right? That's why we are not getting this count for this row. Okay, if you make drop na equals to false, right, so you will get this row count as well. For this unique row, it counted 1, right? If you want to sort your data also, that is also possible. If you make this as a sort equals to true, so it will sort your output. Okay, if you're in the program, so it will show in descending order. Okay, 2 and 1. Okay, if you make it false, the data as it is generated means in ascending order 1 and 2, right? So your row order is now changed. We have one more parameter that is ascending, right? You see ascending. If you make it true, so it will sort your data in ascending order. In the program again. So you will see it is already sorted in ascending order. If you make it false, we don't want in ascending order, then you will get your reverse order, right? Okay, let's see other parameter as well. If you see the normalize, which means return proportion rather than a frequency, right? If you copy and paste, means normalize equals to true, which means instead of getting count value, you will get a proportion of each unique row, right? If you're in the program, so you will see the proportion of this row is zero point 0.3 and 0.66, right? Which means this 12 and 12 is twice, okay? That's why its proportion is 0.66, right? 0.33, which means it is only once, right? In the data, okay? If you make this duplicate, right? The 34, okay? 34 and this 34, right? Then your proportion will be changed, right? zero point 0.5 and zero point 0.5. Okay, so this is how it is working, and even the count has also been changed 2 and 2, right? If you want to apply this count value count on the particular series, that is also possible. For example, math, so that will count, right? If you're in the program, so it will only count maths, right? How many rows are duplicate, right? If you see 12, so it is twice, 34 is twice in math, okay? If you change the data, let me make 1 1 2, so 12 would be 1, right? Because 12 is only once here in this data, 34 is twice, 34 has 2, 12 has 1, and 112 has 1, right? Now move to our next point, how we can apply count and value underscore count function on a series, right? So I have two series handy to save some time, that is S1 and S2. If you apply s.count, so you will get the number of rows in this series, right? If you run the program, so you will get 5, right? Which means we have 1 2 3 4 5. It excluded null value, okay? If you see the documentation, so it will show you return number of known null values in the series, right? Because this series function will return a series, and on series we are applying count function, right? Which will return non nullable values count, right? 5, okay? Put s1, then it will return again 5, right? Because we have 5 rows, right, in this series, okay? But if you apply value underscore counts on series, which is again, it will return series containing counts of unique values, right? If you apply the value underscore count, okay? If you run the program again, so in your s1, so it will show you your values are 3 is twice in this one, 1 is once, right? 2 is once, and 4 is again once, right? If you remove this one and you count the value of s object, so your output would be changed. So 3 is twice again, 1 is 1, 2 is 1, 4 is 1. It excluded these nullable values, okay? If you see the documentation, excludes NA value by default, okay? Again, we have few parameters, right? Normalize, short, ascending, bins. Bins we have extra here, okay? Drop NA. So all parameters you can use in the same way as you have used in data frame, okay? Now let's see index, right? Index returns object containing counts of unique value. Again, the resulting object will be in descending order, so that the first element in is the most frequent occurring element, right? Excludes NA value by default, okay? I have some index already ready with me. I'll print run the program. So you will see your indexes, right? These are created, okay? And if you apply the value count, so it will return you the unique rows, right? 3 has 3 times, and 2 1 and 4 only once, right? If you make 2 again, so your 2 count would be changed, right? You see 2 count is changed, right? If you see the documentation, so again we will be getting the same thing, right? Normalize, right? You can use sort, ascending, bins, and drop NA, right? You can use these things. We have seen how we can use count and value underscore count function on data frame, series, and index. Okay.
That brings us to the end of the today's video. We hope you found it informative and engaging. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting content on all things tech related. Thanks for watching and we will see you in the next video.